Welcome to the podcast that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original short story, which we then use as a springboard for a spirited and lighthearted discussion on whatever the moral or theme of their story is. This week, it is my turn.
Are you excited?
Yay.
Could we all feign excitement a little bit more?
Woo! As long as it's not about snow.
It is not about snow.
Why, you don't want to talk about like the last snowfall versus the first? Get it? It's throwback to like episode 2.
Way to remember his stuff.
I do.
I didn't even remember that, and I wrote it.
I guess she's a big fan of yours, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Or ma'am.
I was going to say.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah, it's kind of a little shots fired at her, but all right.
Seriously, I don't have anything between my legs like that.
Whoa! That's awkward.
Hey, even if you did, you know what? You could still be a girl.
I don't. This is a conversation we're not having.
That's another topic.
There's no way this happens. Okay, it's time for my story. This is not happening here. Time for my story. Shh. Time for my story. Chris readied his F-18. Mission Control just gave the order and he was ready to go. An unidentified flying object, yes, a UFO, was spotted off the coast of California, and he can't wait to discredit yet another idiotic report. Ever since he was a kid, Chris had dreamed of becoming a military pilot, of taking down MiGs like Maverick and Goose, of taking the fight to the skies. Unfortunately, all it's become is a non-stop search for meaningless objects in the sky. Maybe this one's a drone, or a souped-up seagull. Who knows? And honestly, who cares? He thought. Chris took off and began the search. As Mission Control guided him, Chris caught a glimpse of what was identified. Looked like a plane to him, but he closed in regardless. The quicker he identifies this, the quicker he returns to deck. Chris's wingman pulled up alongside him. The military rarely lets you investigate solo. The object is now directly in their line of sight. It's white, oblong, roughly 40 feet long, and 12 feet thick. They close in and notice something odd. The craft has no wings, nor any exhaust. Chris and his wingman are 100 feet away when the craft rolls right, then rolls left, then disappears before their very eyes. They look around, nothing. Chris feels disjointed. Where the hell did it go? He thought. Suddenly, he found out. The craft had, somehow, taken up position directly behind them. Chris and his wingman managed to turn around and came back face to face with the craft. It then seemingly dropped out of the sky, plummeting to the earth at supersonic speeds. Chris chased after the craft. He wanted to see what happened when this craft crashed. But it didn't. 50 feet above the ocean's surface, the craft came to a complete stop, hovering, waiting. As soon as Chris reached its level, he caught one more glimpse of the craft before he flew out of sight. Its speed was too fast to chase after anymore, and all Chris could do was stare blank-eyed at what he had just witnessed. Hundreds of missions and flights, and nothing had ever prepared him for this. No one would ever believe him, but Chris now knew the truth. We are not alone in this universe. Dun dun dun.
Recently watched an episode of X-Files or something? Or like Firefly?
Firefly?
Jeopardy?
Like it was thinking about the ships and them going out into different like things.
Sure.
Out in the verse.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I aim to misbehave.
Ooh, look at you.
What do you feel like the theme or moral of my story is?
The truth is out there.
I was going to say we are not alone.
Yeah, both work. Alien life is possible.
Obviously.
I'm also, you know what, at this point, I'm a little disappointed in you. Why didn't you use the X-Files line as your moral?
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
Maybe we should wait until the end of the show before you start having assumptions.
I meant about your moral.
Because I don't want it as the moral.
Okay.
It's my story.
Fine.
Why don't you write your own?
Remember how bad the X-Files was when it came back?
Oh, remember when I said suck down a big gulp of shut the up?
Uh-oh. Whoa.
You just back up,
I
Seymour.
realize I thought we were all on the same page.
No. I don't even like that book. So
Wow,
here's
nice.
start my questionnaire. You ready? Do you believe in aliens?
Unequivocally.
Ooh, Zach believes in something.
It's not even. To me, it's not a matter of belief. It's a matter of inevitability.
I would agree with that. There's literally almost, I don't know, maybe 0.01%.
Literally?
Yeah, literally.
I
Go
think-
ask science.
Okay. Science? Hey, science.
Oh, sorry. Neil deGrasse Tyson's knocking on my door. Please come in.
Bring him in. There's such an insignificant amount of possibility that there isn't another life form out there. I mean, we have enough evidence that proves that there's something that can potentially even be on like Mars. So it would be really far-fetched to believe that we're the only people in this galaxy to have ever existed and ever will exist.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm fascinated by, I think, the one Earth theory or the one planet theory or whatever, where it's just like the amount of machinations that had to go into creating our planet and making life sustainable and everything is like a less than 1 chance. Like, that's a fascinating idea. But I just feel like with how it's so vast, that space thing, it seems preposterous that there's not, like a worm on another planet or anything.
True.
Like, even if it's not sentient life, there is unquestionably life out there.
yeah, there's live organisms that are outside of planet Earth.
Yeah.
So since you guys believe in the concept of aliens, do you believe our government would hide the truth from us if they had proof?
Wait, are you going to tell us if you believe in aliens?
I believe there is life outside of this planet, yes.
Okay.
Not necessarily giant spaceships zipping
Right.
around.
It's not ET.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, yes, it would be cool if Battlestar Galactica rolled up, but I don't think that would be a possibility. Well, I guess they weren't aliens, were they? They were actually from Earth. Never mind.
I want like giant sentient jellyfish that float through space to come visit us, and they speak to us telepathically. That'd be cool.
Why do we have
Sting you?
such grandiose visions of these things? You know what they probably are? Like, it's probably a slug on some planet, like 16 whatever's away from here, that's just chilling under their version of the sun, getting some shade, man. That's all it is. They're
He's
getting some
chilling
sun.
under the sun, getting some shade.
Getting some sun, some shine under the sun. Just, get a tan, a worm tan.
Do worms get tan? Do they change color?
They do if they're on different planets. You know what? It's a different planet. It's not
That's
the same
true.
rules. The worms
true.
there are people there. Maybe they look like people.
Mm.
They just call them worms. I have no idea. Okay, government. Would the government hide the truth if they knew it? Do you believe?
Not anymore. I don't think they could anymore. Information just travels too fast. It would be hard to contain it. It would be hard to keep the doctor who's conducting the autopsy off of Reddit. Like, it feels like the information would be too easy to get out there. I think they would want to. I just don't think that they could.
Zach makes a really good point because our technology is really advanced and everybody uses that technology, and it can probably still easily be hacked into even with a government software system, whatever the right terminology is. But I still think that they would try and it would just be exposed later. I don't think that the government would openly be like, by the way, guys, we found aliens. Hee, awesome. But I suppose it's possible because it's something that they've been actively working at. I'm not really behind like the whole conspiracy theory thing. I just believe that it would take a significant amount of evidence after they've conducted all of their research and study and everything to prevent other countries and other scientists from trying to get their hands in on that grab. And then when they finally have everything that they want to release, then they would publicly release it, or it would just be exposed. But I don't think if they were like, guys, guess what? We're going to be investigating an alien.
That would be weird, especially if they did it in a musical voice.
That'd be kind of Donald Trump coming out there sing-songing that we found an alien.
I found aliens.
It was huge.
It was a huge alien, biggest alien you ever saw. Never seen so many aliens in the history of aliens. Crazy. They came to my inauguration, by the way.
They were there. I don't know why.
Trump.
I firmly believe the government would do everything they could to hide it.
Why do you believe that?
Because I don't trust the government.
Yeah, you shouldn't trust your government.
Mm-mm.
Don't trust anybody.
I don't. I trust
don't trust
no
you.
one. I trust no one.
I trust only the truth, which is out there somewhere.
Oh, wow.
These are all X-Files connections.
You are so good at this today.
The government is always wanting to control information. They would just send out a report and it would be all black redacted.
That's true.
That's all it would be. Here's a report on this, UFO sighting, and it's all just blacked out.
I agree that they would not want to share the information. This is a truth so substantial that it would need to get out there.
Do you feel, this is a legitimate question.
This is your third one?
No, I've got several because
Okay.
aliens are cool. You have the concept of governments that may or may not expose the truth, right? About aliens. Say they had proof. Do you believe that one reason why, or I believe, okay, here's what I believe. I believe one reason why the government wouldn't release that is because the absolute proof of aliens could decimate the religious culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wonder, do you believe the government would do that to protect religious? Because there could be like a religious revolt if there was actually proof of aliens outside of Earth.
No, the existence of aliens would fundamentally destroy religion. Because if we're made in the image of man, or God made us in his own image, what about those jellyfish people? Really messed up there. Yeah. So yeah, it would of course destroy religion. I assume that would play a role, especially, I mean, you swear on the Bible when you get sworn in. So presumably there's a lot of religious presidents in the history. So I'm sure they would want to. Again, I do think that they would try to contain the information. I just do not think they could.
Yeah, I think the scientists who would find that information out and would be the ones investigating it would do everything possible to expose the information.
And whoever was there whenever it was discovered.
Right.
It'd be on YouTube and Instagram in like seconds.
Yeah, because I understand where you're coming from with the religion aspect. It would, as Zach said, it would fundamentally just crumble the idea of religion being what we believe it to be now for most of, Western religion anyway.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of them would revise it really quick. No, what we meant was...
Here, we just put out our revised Bible, man.
The New Testament.
It's
right.
the super New Testament.
But it's, at the same time, I really believe that, and this may be naive, that our scientists and our people, for the most part, who are coming up and are the ones that are actually doing the work on this, are too progressive to hold that back.
What? Do you believe that, huh?
I think that the scientists would not, the ones who are working on it, they're going to be younger. And typically when you have younger, you have more, right now we have more liberal beliefs. And I don't think that they would, as a moral quandary, they wouldn't do that they wouldn't suppress the information just to basically secure religion as it is.
That's
also,
cute.
the government would then end up getting more money from religion if it were proved to not really be as much as it is, because if it did start to crumble, then you're going to have less. They also give them quite a bit of leniency in terms of taxes and everything.
No taxes.
So they don't have to pay a whole lot to the government at that point. If they started to revise things or religion did crumble in some sense, there may be, and this is far stretched and also would have to take a very long time for it to happen. But eventually I think the government would be like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should stop relying on religion as much now that we have this new evidence and yada, yada, yada.
I firmly believe there are scientists who have developed cures for major diseases that have sold the rights to those cures to pharmaceutical companies for vast amounts of money. This is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
This is a conspiracy theory. So I don't trust scientists necessarily to come forward when they have all the information.
Yeah, that's quite a tinfoil hat theory there.
It is, man. But I listen to Chris Rock a lot. He's kind of what dictates how I feel about it. He's like, there's no money in the cure. The money's in the medicine. So I kind of go with that theory.
No, that's absolutely true. I don't think people are determined to cure cancer. You had your own lab. You're a home scientist and you cured it. I think that they would probably try to shut you up.
Yeah.
Like with Men in Black team.
Yes.
A bunch of guys in suits.
Yeah.
Bzz, look into the thing.
Sad as that. Well, no. The thing they're staring into is the barrel of a gun. But yeah, they'd shut you up.
What do you think it would take to convince everyday people that there were aliens? What would it take? Because in this day and age, we live in a day and age where special effects look better than real life sometimes. What would it take to convince average Joe that they exist anymore?
I don't know. Seeing the ship, I guess. Like flying in the sky when they come for retribution after we take their derelict crash survivors and our underground bunkers.
But they would have to see the ships themselves, right? Not on YouTube or anything. They would have to actually see them in their backyard or in their city or something. or hear it from a relative or whatever.
Not everyone. Surely some people would believe the footage and stuff, but the government would probably, be trying to fight back, so it'd probably take a while to get to the truth. Certainly anybody religious is going to refuse to believe it until the bitter end, because it's going to uproot their lives entirely.
Well, and they don't want to be faced with, it's not necessarily even, I truly believe this, that it's not necessarily, oh, I need to protect my religion. It's, I need to protect everything that I'm afraid of because I've built my entire life, my morals, my future, my children, everything in my life is based off of this religion that I've built my life around. If I don't have that religion, if I don't have what has taught me to be the person that I am and what I've fundamentally, circled my life around, then it's a fear of who am I without that religion if it's disproved. So it's more of like an internal fear.
I'd argue that was implied with what I said, but it's okay.
Fine. Well, I elaborated since you didn't.
Spell it out for the simpletons.
Fight. Okay, if there was ever proof of an alien species, what would be the most prominent thing you would want to know about them? The number one thing you'd want to know about them. Amanda?
One thing? You go to me first with a decision?
I'm going to you first, yeah.
This is, I hope everybody's strapped in and ready to wait and listen to silence because I
already know what I want. So.
All right, Zach, go ahead.
No, I don't want to ruin this fun.
Because there's so many things that I would want to know.
That was a horrible Jeopardy theme, by the way. It sounded like I was the horse that was dying.
I would want to evaluate their level of intelligence.
Okay.
To determine...
Oh boy, there's more.
Well, no, with that, the reason I'm just explaining why I chose that among all of the other things that you would want to know, because it would be interesting to find out like how advanced their intelligence is, because right now we kind of assume that we have all of this back knowledge to rely on that we've built upon, which they wouldn't have, assuming, because they don't have access to any of our stuff. So it'd be interesting to determine.
They might have Google. We don't know.
It's possible. Maybe they do. So it would just be nice to know like what kind of level of intelligence they have. And if they have a higher level of intelligence than us, hopefully they do, because ours doesn't seem to be very high, then we can get some information from them and learn from their species what's been working for them.
I would look at this alien and their black eyes as they stare back at me. And I would say, let's find out if we can have sex.
Why was that the first thing that went to your mind?
Why not? Let's interspecies here.
Encounter alien life forms and bang it.
And find out if they have more than 2 nipples, like that Total Recall lady.
I'm interested to know about their sexual physiology. What better way than with first-hand experience? I want to be the first guy who banged an alien. That's what I'm saying.
That would be a top-selling book, I'm sure.
That would make me.
Really hope your wife doesn't overhear this, because she's going to adamantly refuse that you ever look into alien species.
My weekend at Pluto.
I gotta say, if your wife doesn't understand that you need to bang, you'd be the first person to bang an alien, or your husband. If your significant other doesn't support you banging extraterrestrials, why you shouldn't be with that person anyway.
I'm so glad I'm single.
Like a jellyfish.
We're gonna find out together, me and the jellyfish, and if not, you can get a jellyfish hand job. So.
And you know what the rest of what the rest of your married life's gonna be? Oh, what? What's so special about the jellyfish lady?
Yeah, I was gonna say, now you got a jellyfish kink, huh?
You guys can never go to an aquarium again, because she's like, oh, is that your girlfriend? Is that the one that you banged?
Where do you want to go on vacation? The beach? No!
The mountains, take me to the mountains.
Rockin' Chubby at the aquarium.
Oh my God.
Gross. I would want to know if they had any cures for diseases. That's the first thing I'd want to know.
Didn't that go very poorly in V?
Well, yeah. I mean, but people, assessing the intelligence, I'm thinking they made it here. We didn't make it there, so they already win.
That's true. That's true.
We're still sitting here going, well, we made it to the moon. Woohoo! What'd you learn? Yeah. I don't know. But you know what I do want to know? Who took the picture of the guy landing on the moon and walking around? Who was the guy outside taking that picture? That's just weird to me.
The jellyfish.
It might have been.
Well, we have a picture of a black hole now.
The night before.
Yeah, we do have a picture of a black hole now. We think it is. It looked like a fuzzy onion ring to me.
Well, the lady who found it is pretty certain that it's a black hole.
Like, I trust her. She's with the government.
I don't know who she is. I don't know
It's
her.
actually really surprising because I teared up when I read who it was because I wanted to look into it. I kept seeing everybody who was like, who is this person who did this, blah, blah, blah. So I looked into it and I saw this picture of the girl when she first saw the image because she was a computer tech person and she built the code or whatever. I don't know how the language works here.
Quote unquote. Code.
Yeah. She built whatever you
totally
need to for computers to actually pick up what the image is. So she was, like computer nerd and she was like, oh my gosh, I did this. And she's really young. And I was just like, could you imagine if you were that young and that's what
if they find out a year from now that actually what that was is somebody brought their kid to work day and it's like a little bit of crayon that somebody wrote, like just drew a circle around the lens of their camera or whatever. Their telescope. Huh?
No.
This is all a joke. I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's real. All right, lastly, if we ever do have proof of alien life, should we perceive them to be a threat? They always do in the movies, right? As soon as they show up, everybody's ready to blow them out of the sky. So should we perceive them as a threat? Because we seem like we're terrified of the concept of aliens.
Handle it a little differently, though. You can be cautious and you can be a little bit wary of the situation and give them an opportunity to learn who they are before you're just like, by the way, here's the code to everything, like our CIA database. If you want to come in and hang out, see who they are, feel them out. But that doesn't mean you need to blow them up just because. And I think it's really based around those movies where they have aliens and they're so fearful of them. I personally take it as we're afraid of anything that's different than us. And that goes back to where you
history.
Racial and cultural divides. And that's really just a manifestation of our fear of those things. And it's just portrayed, put onto aliens. So give them an opportunity, man.
That.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah, that's...
You go to the meeting with them, but you line up the snipers on the terrain.
Well, that's not a good way to create trust.
Let's meet in the park, and the alien jellyfish just shows up, and he's like, hey, what's with all the red dots, man? What's up with that? No, don't worry about it.
You gotta be sneakier than that. But also... Say you're the alien, right? You're meeting with these life forms, but they don't line up I wouldn't respect them if they don't have snipers lined up. I'd be like, are you guys this dumb? Maybe this naive?
Maybe they have bigger powers than you do. They don't need to rely on weapons. Their bodies can just they can shoot lava from their eyeballs.
They're all Magneto.
Ooh.
I actually firmly believe in the Independence Day theory that all people would be dumb enough to jump to the roof with signs saying take us or whatever and then just get blown to bits. We're those people.
Probably.
We're Instagram people. Everybody'd be up on the roof
taking
trying
selfies.
to take selfies with the big giant laser coming down on their head. See who gets it posted first.
Yeah, I do kind of believe that if aliens spent the time, the money, the resources to travel light years or whatever to get to us, they're coming with some kind of intent. They're not sending, ships and ships towards us just to check in.
Well, if they send one ship, that's the check-in. If you have, 50 across the world, I panic a little.
Yeah, I assume that you are hostile intent for sure. You're here to take us over. You're going to drink our water, though, and you're going to catch that flu.
It's like if you go outside and there's 50 people in your front yard, you don't expect that they're there at a party, right? It's just weird.
You take all of the aliens to Flint, Michigan, and you're like...
Drink up?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. You step outside on your lawn, one person's there staring at you. You're like, oh, hey, how's it going? 50 people staring at you. You're like, all right. Grab the bat.
Ironically, it's probably the one person that would be wanting to kill you, though. It's just that one guy. I've been waiting for you to open the door.
Oh, that was very creepy.
You like that? Was my story truth or fiction?
But...
Was my story truth or fiction?
Fiction.
I hope one day it's truth.
What is it today?
Fiction.
Okay.
It's fiction.
That story is absolutely truth.
No, it's not.
It's 100% true. Chris Mellon served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence for 2 administrations, and early in his career drafted the legislation that established the U.S. Special Operations Command at a time when terrorism was not yet on the radar. He presented an overview of a 2004 incident involving an aircraft carrier, USS Nimitz, which was detected on 2 separate radars and gun camera footage was taken. Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Jim Slate of Strike Fighter Squadron 41 attempted to intercept the craft, but it accelerated away, reappearing on radar 60 miles away. It moved 3 times the speed of sound and twice the speed of the fighter jets.
What?
That's a true story.
Oh my God, I have some goosebumps on my arms right now.
Truth according to them.
And all their various ways to, gun camera footage and radar.
Well, see, this goes against your government theory then, because they did disclose the information.
this is only disclosed because of another faction. They had to disclose it, but nobody really believes them. That's the funny part. Nobody takes it seriously, even though there are various members of the military that have gone on record and say that this incident did happen. So it's almost
I'm gonna do some light Googling after this show.
I'm telling you, USS Nimitz. Look it up.
Nimitz.
True story.
Nimitz.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Nimitz.
That's exactly what he just spelled. What's the name of your story?
The title is "The Truth Is Out There."
Oh,
Patience.
I called it so early on.
Patience. All right, as our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. You can join our Facebook group, talk to us there. We're on Twitter @smirkpodcast. Be sure to use the show's hashtag Smirk. And please share the show with your friends and rate us on your podcast app of choice. And as you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk.
what was that?
That was my alien impression, the alien music stuff.
That
plays when aliens land every time.
Put the sound effect in.
Well, if in like the 60s, that's what sound it made, yeah.
What if an alien lands and just wants weed? Like their dealers are gone.
So it's that, what was that? They made a movie like this
It's
where
like
it was
the
like a
Big
stoner
Lebowski.
alien.
Oh,
Was it Paul?
Paul,
yes.
Rogen, like that's actually how aliens, they come here and they just want weed.